him saying he's feeling great is what we all say. Basically, when our ego gets involved, we all have egos in wrestling. I'm trying to put this in the right light because Devon's a friend and I worry about him, so I am biased. I'm not gonna pretend not to be biased about this, but I am gonna talk from experience, my observation, and just father time in general when it comes to anybody, much less professional wrestlers. What Devon is saying is great. He lost 85 pounds. That's obviously going to take more pressure off your spine, off your joints. I'm glad just doing DDP yoga or any kind of exercise or physical therapy in general has his back feeling better, especially after the back surgery didn't do it. And a lot of people who have that lower back surgery, which is my assumption that it's the lower back, because most wrestlers, that's with me with the spine infection, I thought I finally hit the wall and I needed the back surgery. It's just a thing that we all accept or we all have to look forward to as part of professional wrestling. But as a friend and somebody that's friendly with Devon, who's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in or out of wrestling, I worry about him and I don't think it's a good idea. I don't. Because Devon feeling better is not while he's actually taking bumps. He might be rolling around in the ring with the wrestlers and with the students. And by the way, I did do that video with him a few months ago and said, dude, you look great. Do you ever get in the ring or you want to get in the ring? And back then he said, no, I have no desire to get back into the ring. So somebody must have put the decimal point in the right place, as Jesse Ventura would say, and that's fine. This is the point. I understand what Devon is saying and feeling because there are times, and it's not now because I just flew back from Utah and I'm still recovering from that, from flying, going to the airport early, getting a hotel room, sleeping not in my own bed, but in some strange hotel bed, rental car, all that stuff. But guess what I didn't have to do during my business trip? I didn't have to wrestle. I didn't have to take bumps. And I'm still feeling it days and days later. And I don't want Devon to feel like I feel great. And then you get in the ring and it's so unpredictable to get into any wrestling match. We do what went wrong. How many what went wrongs, like the Liv Morgan thing or other thing, or they're just freak accidents. You can do everything right and have an opponent, like they have the opponents you told me before, it's Devon and Bubba versus the Hardys at the next TNA pay-per-view, correct?
Yeah, that's in October, so he's got another 3 months to, further limber up and train and everything.
But that's awesome. I mean, doing yoga and physical therapy, I work out with bands and body weight a lot. I do all these modalities in order to reduce or try to eliminate joint impact, joint inflammation, lengthen my spine. All that stuff is great. But you can't train. The only way Devon can train for a wrestling match is getting into the ring and taking these bumps. And for all we know, and I'm knocking on wood because like I say, he's my friend and I don't want to happen, he could further injure that spine in the next 2 to 3 months training for the match. And he will train for the match. Devon, he takes great pride, and hold on to that word, pride, as well as ego. Devon wants to look his best, and he also wants to perform, all four guys, the Hardys and the Dudleys. They want to perform just like what they're trying to relive. This nostalgia match is trying to relive a 1-to-1 ratio of the TLC matches, of that match that they had, the tables match at the Garden, where Jeff famously did the Swanton onto Devon. These guys are going to work their asses off. And that's what worries me, because Devon will work at the high level that he did back then. But I'm not worried about Devon, the man, Devon's mind, or Devon's motivation for doing this. I'm worried about his body and how it's going to react to possibly whatever freak thing might happen. Even if somebody slams him hard, his back could just really seize up. He has a stroke that he recovered from. Thank God, fully recovered. I didn't see any remnants of that at all. No slurring, nothing. I wouldn't even know he had a stroke unless he told me, which he did. So with that being said, what if somebody hits him with a really, really heavy clothesline or something to the head, or he takes a bump and he doesn't tuck his chin in time and hits the back of his head? Am I being a worrywart? 1,000,000%. And guess what? I hope the comments on this clip say after the match, my God, this was one of Stevie's worst takes ever. So stupid. You were so wrong. Yes, that's exactly what I want. I'm not trying to jinx Devon. I'm trying to actually just put it out there that what we do here, and we pointed out with what went right, the botch watches and all that stuff, that things can go wrong even with, for the most utmost professionals in the ring that know what they're doing. And that's, as a friend, I worry.
He wrestled, I didn't realize this, I was looking up his matches. He actually wrestled in 2023 once and 2024 twice. So that's post-stroke as well. So I guess, you know, he felt good enough to get in the ring a couple more times. And then, you know, with weight issues and then spine issues, and then he's got all that sorted out. I don't see a major, I know it sounds ridiculous to say, I don't see like a major red flag to like stop it. Not like Ric Flair, who's got a pacemaker and is 100 years old kind of thing. I mean, Devon, as you say, Devon's younger than you, you know, and hopefully once again, he will have a great time. He will enjoy himself. He'll have a great match, and then he'll get it out of his system.
That's the point. What you did, the last part, repeat that.
Okay, does any wrestler ever get wrestling out of their system?
No. No, that's why we're doing the show. It's never out of our system. You just have to have the right outlet that's hopefully healthy, where you sit here, even though sitting here it makes my back sore. You know, it's just, there's a trend in anything athletic or even entertainment. And we talked about it in different elements and stuff. But the way I could kind of like summarize it is, wrestlers always wrestle too long. They always have one more match than they should. They never stop. Al Snow has famously said, no wrestler ever leaves on their own terms. And I hope Devon's the first. I hope he comes out of the help. He says goodbye to everybody. But Ric Flair, more recently Goldberg. If Goldberg, with everything they've done for him, is still not satisfied and wants to come back for another match, how are they? And this is the other thing. It's the Dudleys versus the Hardys. What's missing from the equation to really be the biggest send-off match? What team?
Edge and Christian.
So are we going to get one more where all three of them do something in AEW? That's in the money too. Let's not forget. Hopefully Devon's getting paid a boatload of money to do this match. And that could have been the motivating factor on top of feeling well. And he's a businessman. That money from that payday can fund the school, can fund the other projects and businesses he's doing. Also, is Devon thinking, and I'm speaking for him, but he has not told me this. This is me just speculating. Is this match a way to show WWE that he can still be plugged in somewhere within the company?
He was a producer for a very long time with WWE, I believe, wasn't he? Was it like
I know, but
years
is this a way to get back into the radar of WWE? Yeah, he was an agent, and he could still contribute and be somebody that could really do some good in the company. Is this a thing? I'm not saying the match is going to make them say, wow, Devon can work, we should make him an agent. Even though the company is sometimes so compartmentalized, they don't realize he was an agent before. But I think Devon says if he works that match at TNA and there's WWE personnel and office people at that pay-per-view and they see him and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, out of sight, out of mind type stuff. But if he's in their sight, does that mean there's going to be another opportunity? Or sign the Dudleys to Legends contracts, they make autograph signings and appearances and they appear on TV? Then you can scratch that itch without taking bumps.
Now, I think the story goes that with the Dudleys, Bubba is the guy who basically overshadows the team. He's the loudest one, of course. I also think that maybe people would assume that Bubba Ray is like the tough guy of the duo, but I think people within the business have said, no, Devon's the one you've got to watch. He was like apparently a real badass in his day. And one of the toughest guys, you know, in the ECW locker room, WWE and that kind of thing. I don't know if you ever saw it, I'm not saying firsthand, but, you know, witnessed anything like that. But apparently Devon back in the day was no one to trifle with.
Well, he's such a nice guy. Why would you want to trifle with him? But
Well,
he's
yeah.
he's also a legitimate tough guy. You know what analogy I use for somebody like Devon? Fit Finlay. Smiles, nice, disarming. Literally, he could disarm you if you make him mad. How's that? Both of them. Now, Devon's a legit tough guy. And I always say, dare I say it, so take a drink. People like time to take it. You're going to get drunk by the end of future episodes, and dare I say, and with that being said.
Yeah, be
but,
that as it may, yeah.
Be it as, yeah, I can't, that's your saying, I can't even say it. But be that I say I can't do it. But concerning Devon, here's the thing with Devon. When you watch and you really break down Bubba and Devon is actually more intense than Bubba. Bubba's intense. But I'm talking about when I used to sell for Devon and say you're kind of on with your butt on the bottom turnbuckle and he's lighting you up with punches. Devon's got more of that I'm going to kill you face. And the way he throws the punches are more like a real brawler, which Devon is a real brawler. So he just wouldn't touch you. But he rubber mallet you here and there. But I love Devon in his work because he always got that Marty Jannetty type treatment that Bubba stood out more because of the way Bubba cut promos and then the Bully Ray character. But Devon's one of the most underrated workers and underrated intense workers there's times when I looked at Devon, he's hitting me. I was like, dude, are you mad at me? Yeah, no, brother, I'm not. I'm just playing. I'm like, oh, you're mad at me again. So,
the one thing I want to bring up as well is that I don't think we were talking about Hulk Hogan and guys who are great at selling. I think Devon is one of the more underrated guys to sell because with like the bigger landings he would take, he would almost do this, like half of it would be fencing, that twitching of the hands and wrist kind of thing and fencing, and half of it would be body popping at the same time, where he'd be arching his back and then
the New Jack entrances with the weapons is when Devon did his best selling. When he got hit with the crutches and he started doing the electrocution and also the contortion with his body. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. Whether he stood up or on the mat, yeah.
Yeah, well, very underrated. And that's why, like, when they broke the team up, I, for some reason, thought Devon was going to be more successful than Bubba. I don't know why. And the Reverend gimmick was not there. It was not Devon. But he's a guy that deserved to have a singles run. And I know it's not at a point where it's going to happen, but we need to appreciate that Devon, the Team 3D, the Dudleys, they made immense amounts of money and drew immense amounts of money. But Devon on his own could have drawn with the right character and the right presentation.
So not with aces and eights then?
That was to be. If they did that in WWE, I think he would have been a lot bigger of a name. The aces and eights got into NWO Crayola Crown number of color territory. You know what I mean? Like it was just too many people in the group.